Today's talk is about the other reason why, as an artist, it's a great idea to be a reader. And usually, the suggestion is that writers should be readers. And what I propose is that all artists should be readers for this reason. When you read, what you do is your imagination kicks into gear. And during the time of reading, especially fiction, your imagination generates a theater of the mind. And this is a time where your kind of like those mental muscles of imagination get a really great workout. And you develop the ability to inwardly see, to inwardly create 3D spaces, and to hear the voices of the characters you're reading about, and to smell the smells, and to inwardly feel the textures and see the colors. And without it being drudgery or difficult, you are developing a much stronger imagination. And for an artist, this is really helpful. One way I like to think about this is that we have the ability to have a virtual reality experience in our own mind. It's our imagination. And to get a sense of how convincing this virtual reality can be, read a book. It's one of the best ways you can do this, because when you're reading, this ability of ours to inwardly to create a reality inside our mind, an imaginary reality. Most people don't realize the potential of that ability. And for any kind of artist, you name it, name a type of art form, the ability to imagine, to use the imagination, is essential and of a great benefit. And one of the best ways you can develop that ability is by reading. When you read a book, during that time that you're reading this story and enjoying this story, your brain is really gaining and improving upon one of its most one of the greatest capabilities of the human brain is to inwardly imagine. So an individual who has not developed this ability, say they can close their eyes and they can sort of make out the face of someone they care about, someone they know well, and kind of think about the features a little bit by imagining those features. And someone who has developed this capability can close their eyes and they can imagine this entire street with the houses and go into each of the rooms of the houses and know the people who live there, and can see inwardly what those people look like, and the textures on their clothing, and the sounds and the smells, and the overall weather. And they can do this all at once, and it's worth it, is all I can say. It's really a capability that is underrated and one of the greatest capabilities that us humans can do. So if you're a creator and you're trying to find ways to like double your creative power, just have a book and once a week read the book, and after you're done reading the book for a while, kind of test it and see. And because one thing I enjoy is that when I've read for an hour or so, afterwards mentally I feel like, I mean, it does improve your intelligence after you're finished reading. And it could be just like a Stephen King or something like that. It doesn't have to be Gorky or some 18th century novel. And just material that makes you turn on the theater of the mind and start using the mental inward imaging and virtual reality creation in your brain. I think we think of books as like food, something we consume. So we take in this information and then we have that information stored away. But that's only a small part of what's happening. When we read a very entertaining, good story, our experience of that story ultimately is our own experience. Our experience of that story is very different from how others would imagine that story to be as they read it. The way I think intelligence is portrayed these days is that everyone has kind of their set intelligence, and that's how intelligent they are, that's how smart they are. And somehow we think of that as an unvarying level, or the thing is when you read, your intelligence increases, and it's a lasting effect, and it will last for a few days. So when you're done reading a book, afterwards you're going to make smarter decisions, and you're going to be able to see things more clearly. And because by reading, your brain has kicked into gear, and your intelligence will raise. And so if you continue to be a reader, continue to operate on a smarter level and enjoy the benefits of seeing more, being more perceptive, having a more penetrating insight into your life. And so it's really a good benefit for everyone, I think. And if you're an artist, if being creative is important to you, and you have that idea at 4 a.m. and you wake up, so if you've been reading and your imagination is really at a strong level, when you have that idea, you see it maybe 10 times more of it than someone who has not exercised their imagination. When you see it, you may see it as almost like a vision where you can see the story, or if you're an inventor, you can actually like see the machine made and look at its parts, and in your mind turn it around and examine and test it for its integrity. So it's just if you want to be an artist, it's important to read. If that weren't enough of a reason to read, there's another benefit you get, and that is that, okay, the way our brains work is all of us think, and we have kind of patterns of thought that we go along. So if you're at the store trying to go shopping, or if you're talking with a friend about plans, there are these kind of patterns of decision making and ways of looking at things and attitudes that each of us have. And when you're reading, what you're doing, you're not just taking in new information, you're also taking in patterns of thought. And this is going to make you a more versatile thinker, because there are going to be these patterns of thinking and ways of looking at things that you never would have picked up otherwise. So every time you read a book, you're kind of like taking in these other strategies of thinking. And it isn't just reason, it's also about humor and it's just patterns of thinking and ways of making decisions that you can pick up from a good book. I really appreciate the comments I've been getting lately. I'm glad that there are a lot of creators and artists out there who are working hard to bring new stories and artwork to the world. The reason I make these videos is to get more people to know about my animation project at solomation.com, and there are free episodes. It's a story I wrote, and if you have the time, please check it out at solomation.com. Also, I think it'd be great if you hit the like button, subscribed, or left a comment. And I hope your art goes well, and have a good day.